So there's really not a good answer. They're in the middle. There's wiggle room if everything goes right, and the second wild card makes things much more possible, but they're in the middle.
Why am I soft in the middle when the rest of my life is so hard? Vlad Guerrero Jr. Now, I'm going to just slow this down, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to... If I had that 70s porno music that played right now, just talk really slow
Put
here.
on Pony by Genuine.
Because, tell me what we should expect from Vlad Guerrero Jr. Or maybe even tell... I'm sure this is not a podcast where like everybody's like a diehard Jays fan and they know exactly who Guerrero Jr. is. Maybe even step back and tell us, who is this kid and why should we be excited about him?
Yeah, totally. Well, he is the son of Vladimir Guerrero, who is being inducted into the Hall of Fame now. One of the all-time Expos greats and an Angels great. One of the most entertaining players probably that we've seen the last couple of generations. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you started hearing buzz about him when he was 13 or 14. A, because of his name. B, because he's massive. And the Blue Jays eventually signed him when he was 16 years old out of the Dominican Republic. Born in Montreal, actually, so he can claim the Canadian, but signed him out of the Dominican Republic. And honestly, through the first year or so that he was in the Blue Jays system, there was some pessimism or some wonder among scouts and people like me too. What would we be saying about him if his name was Ben Smith? If he didn't have that name, would it still be this high? But since then, he's emerged as probably the top offensive prospect in all of baseball. He is thick and strong, and if you could sit down and draw a power hitter, he's what he would look like. The story I love telling is that was I in Dunedin or I was in Buffalo? I was at a minor league stadium somewhere. And I was talking to this old scout, and kind of like a stereotypical baseball scout you'd cast in a movie if you were really trying to overdo it.
Like The Natural or something.
Yeah. He was just, disheveled and grumpy. And I asked him, have you seen Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in person? Because I hadn't seen him yet in person at that point. He said, yeah, he's going to be good. I said, well, thank you. I said, like, what do you think about his power potential? He goes, I'll tell you what. For a power hitter, I like a power hitter that has a hard time buying pants. And I looked at him, and I was just trying to play it cool. I said, "Sure, I'm sure that makes sense." But eventually, it did to me because Vladimir Guerrero Jr., big waist, thick upper legs, and that's where so much power comes from. You can have a guy like Jose Bautista, who's just a proportioned, normal-looking guy who produces it in their swing, but Vlad Guerrero, because of that strong base, he can just flip his arms and it's gone. So right now, if you're forecasting the league 5 years from now, he's a guy that is, has the potential to be one of the best hitters in baseball. Almost a generational talent in terms of his overall
we're talking
approach.
Like Mike Trout.
Yeah, you're talking prime Albert Pujols. You're talking Miguel Cabrera, Manny Ramirez, Joey Votto. You're talking that type of thing. And I really hesitate to say anything like that. As a practice, I hate being optimistic with prospects because very few of them work. And I like to keep myself safe by being a bit of a pessimist or by holding off a little bit because it's been lesson learned over and over again. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I look at his game, there's not that but in it. So many prospects, he's got a great swing, but there's this little hole. We'll see. And when you get to the majors, well, smart people find that hole and you're done. You're out of the league in 5 years. He doesn't have that. It's just all around incredible offensive talent. And on top of that, even though this doesn't matter to the scoreboard, he's a likable kid. He has a big smile. He will market well. Same with Bo Bichette. They're guys that will market well and people will attach themselves to.